Alright, looks like it's time to start. Let me adjust the text accordingly. Let's do the initial Q&A. Alright, let me just answer that. Is there an estimation for the alpha? Any chance you will open source the game? I don't know how long it takes until I will do the alpha. The game won't be fully open source, but if you buy the game you will have access to almost all of the game logic code. Only the game engine will be inaccessible to you, but all of the game logic code will be accessible and moddable. I love making money in those sim games. Will there be a trade option? Making products and selling them so you can build your city more productive. I think you are talking about more like tycoon games where you actually trade. In Citybound you will just do the city management, so of course your industry in your city will trade with the region and make money from that, but you yourself won't really make money. You will only make money by getting taxes from the local businesses and inhabitants. The different Steam qualities get unlocked when there's enough people watching, but it's not a fixed amount, but our stream has to be in the top 900 on Twitch, then we will get it. And depending on the time of day and how many other people are streaming right now, that could be more or less. I'm using just 3JS for 3D graphics and jQuery for some user interface elements, but other than that I'm not using any libraries. Yeah, I just explained libraries. Tools, I'm basically only using Sublime Text 3, which you can see in the background here, and the developer tools that are integrated into Node WebKit, which I'm running the game in. Node WebKit is basically Chrome, but you can run it full screen as a dedicated app, and you have access to all of the developer tools that you have in Chrome. And these are basically the only two tools I use. Other than that, maybe Photoshop to do some graphics related stuff, but that's about it. Any recommendations in terms of minimum computer specs? I have no idea because I haven't done any optimization or testing on lower spec computers at all yet. And first I want to implement everything that is needed to make big cities possible, and as soon as that is possible I can start trying to optimize it. Will there be prisons in the game? I guess so. I think it will be either part of police departments, like small prison cells like in SimCity, or maybe even dedicated prisons. Yes, there will be weather and seasons. Will I create a physical version of the game? Probably not, because that's a lot of work and it's very expensive to do. I don't know. At some point I might think about that. Pathfinding system, I'm using a star. But we've been adapting that to handle multiple lanes next to each other. And it's also, there's a caching system on top of the pathfinding, so if multiple cars want to use the same path, they don't have to each ask the pathfinding system again and again, but they can reuse the results from previous queries. Will there be things like rivers and mountains? Yes. Can we pay for a choice of qualities, like upgrade your account? Do you mean here on Twitch or what? Did you fix the merging lanes problem? Not completely. I will show you in a second. it's not really browser based. As I said, it runs inside Node WebKit, and Node WebKit is available for all 3 PC platforms, so like Windows, Linux, and Mac. In theory, you could also port it to mobile devices, but this is something that I will try later on. Avoiding garbage collection has a great effect on coding style, because you're almost writing C at this point. I of course only try to do it where it's really necessary, and some of the hot paths in the code, like code that gets called very often, for example in the pathfinding or the update of vehicles, I'm very, very careful to not create new objects, and the resulting code is a little bit ugly, but you get used to it. First, I will only focus on single player, not on multiplayer. I can try to apply to become a Twitch partner. I don't fulfill the requirements yet, but they are known to make exceptions there. And after that, I think I would always get the quality options, and I can use their subscription system where people can pay to subscribe to my channel and get like additional perks. I don't know how I would be using that yet, but would be nice to have. And I would have the option to disable ads on my channel, which I would love to do. Let's have a look at that together. Just making sure here that... Hold on, I gotta make sure that it plays really this playlist and not some other suggested stuff like last time. Right. So, here you can see the requirements. They want an average concurrent viewership of 500 plus. We're not there yet. I think we're around 100. And they want you to stream at least 3 times a week. I'm only doing 2 times a week, so I'm still below that, but maybe I will try to apply anyway soon. I've been wondering about how to include density management. I thought about using brushes to limit the height of buildings. That way, if you have a landmark or a building that you like, you could prevent growing buildings from growing higher than that landmark or something like this by painting the height limitation all around it. This is exactly how it will work. There will be a density, like maximum density brush, that is independent from the zoning brushes, where you can just set the maximum density that you want to have everywhere. And it's good that you mentioned this, because I think this will be today's topic: higher density buildings. Yeah, you could maybe even make exceptions or ask the player. No, it's I don't pay for upgrading my Twitch account. I basically have to apply and they think about it, and then I get it for free and can even make money with it. But I have to meet the requirements, or otherwise convince them that it would be good for me to become a Twitch partner. Will there be animals and animated people in the game? Yes. I didn't look at Atom Shell yet. I guess it does basically the same thing as Node WebKit, so it has like big advantages. Please let me know. Can you make a Citybound forum? Right now I don't really see the necessity. I mean, I have the communities on Reddit, Simtropolis, and Something Awful, and I'd prefer if people just go there instead of creating another community. What is developing a large project on your own like? Today I've only made fairly small things for my course, and the idea of doing something big worries me. Well, over the years I kind of got used to work on big projects, because basically all my projects have been way too over-ambitious. I think it started way back when I was modding Crysis. I had this idea for a large mod with its own story and completely new gameplay, basically a full conversion mod that I was working on my own, but it was completely unrealistic. But still, I worked on it for like 1.5 years, And I learned a lot of things in the process, like 3D programming, level design, and so on. But the underlying problem was that the idea for the whole mod wasn't really thought through, and I was just doing it because it felt like fun, but I didn't have any clear vision of what I wanted to be. Then my second big project was basically a multiplayer Sudoku that you can play in the web. And again, I learned a lot of technical stuff there, and had some ideas on how to build a metagame on top of that, but again, it wasn't concrete enough, and to be honest, Sudoku didn't really inspire me enough to finish something there. But I worked also, I think, like 1 year on that, and now Citybound feels really different as a project. It's probably the most ambitious that I ever started, but I already know so much about it in my head and can imagine exactly how I want all the details to be. And it's like this intersection of multiple passions that I have, which makes the whole thing just super, super inspiring to me. And it's the first project that actually caught on widespread interest early on, as is obvious now. And that also makes it feel completely different, because just the knowledge that there are lots of people who are interested in what I'm doing makes me want to finish it as quickly as possible, or at least get it in a state where they can play it. So yeah, these are my thoughts on that. I don't know, just start doing small stuff. You can also try to do it like me, have like big overambitious projects, but don't feel too bad for canceling them. I think in retrospect it would be better to start with more smaller projects. I think you can learn more that way. But very good question. How do you expect the graphics to change as you develop the game? Well, I hope that the procedural buildings will get a lot more detailed, that there will be more detailed and animated stuff in general, and that the lighting engine will become better, because right now I'm just using what comes with 3JS, and I'd love to implement something better myself there. No, the live streams will never be paid. On Twitch TV there's an option to have a voluntary subscription, where other people can still see your live stream, but if you subscribe you get, for example, additional advantages, but I wouldn't even know how to use that yet. Right now, as a few people said, it's nice to have a small stream like this, and I don't really want to do big advertising for the stream, because I want to keep it small. Of course there will always be organic growth, but that is fine. Yeah, there will be different building styles, of course, and we will be working on some today maybe. Will density changing also rely on the population like in SE4? Like if a city had 10k people, it allowed for high rises. Good question. Keep it for later, because this is exactly what we will be thinking about today. If I hire enough money and I find people that I'm comfortable with kind of sharing parts of the creation of the game, I would of course hire people, but I think that I'm not there yet, of course. When did I start with programming? I guess like between 12 and 13. Will there be other sound elements than soundtrack? Did you think where you get samples from? Yes, there will be sound effects, and I'm happy to say, I don't know if I ever announced that I already have a sound engineer on board. But right now I didn't have the time to kind of work together with him, or didn't ask him to do anything, because I first want to get the gameplay working, and sound effects are really secondary to that. But as soon as kind of the basics are working, I will try to involve him a little more and get some sound effects going. I will show you in a second. Yeah, I agree. Alright, some last questions for our initial round. And then I'll show you my progress on what we worked on last time, and I will announce what we will work on today. Will you have to do stuff like connect water, electricity and so on? No, this stuff will be connected or will be automatically created with roads like in the new SimCity. You will have the option to create manual connections if you need to do that, but most of it will be automatic. Would the health of citizens be something that the player has into account? Yes, definitely, and all of the things that you mention will have the according effects. Yeah, let's kind of brainstorm about that in a second. What was the funniest bug thing in development since you started? I think when I implemented the lane system and the kind of geometric code for that, there were some very funny bugs, and I think I posted some screenshots. I can show you some of them. Yeah, stuff like, for example, at one time it started creating pretzels when I tried to connect some roads, or at another time it just did crazy stuff like this. So this is definitely fun. Yeah, I think now that I have them as competition, it's going to be even more interesting to develop Citybound. What SimCity 2K had technology progression? Like what? I think I forgot about that, but which buildings did that affect? Okay, yeah, I think there will be stuff like that. And I think I will even make it more extensive, that for example, big train stations or airports are unlocked as soon as you reach a certain population, and you can't build them before that, to give you this sense of progression through the game, even though it is sandboxy, to just make it feel a little tighter. I answered that earlier. I have no idea. Yeah, there's one. His name is Phil something. But so far it's not really necessary. I mean, we are so few people, I can just kind of half moderate it myself. Yeah, there will be of course a sandbox mode where everything is unlocked from the beginning. How is death and birth managed right now? Not at all. I have to think about it. Like, I think I will do it like if people are happy and healthy enough, they will start to get children, and they can die of natural reasons or become ill if their health is too bad. Will you have a choice of when the start date will be? Well, it doesn't really make a difference if there's no technology progression. So yeah, I mean, the number doesn't mean anything. What tips do you have for beginning programmers? That's a good question. Basically, I think my one tip is that don't try to learn it with exercises or focus overly on books. Like, have some small project in mind that you really want to do. Just even if it's something stupid or very, very simple. just one small project that you can finish, and then just look up all the things that you need as you go. Don't learn stuff just for the sake of learning them, but try to learn stuff only because you immediately need it right now, because then you will be much more motivated to learn it, and it will be much more fun. So I guess this is my central advice there. Remember how in older city builder games the population of a house or a building seemed a lot higher than it would be in real life? If the buildings in your game are procedurally generated, why not just assign each person a certain volume of space in a building based on the person's value and land view? Yeah, that's basically how it already works. Each building type in Citybound can offer a certain amount of what I call slots, and into these slots can come, for example, an apartment for one person, or an apartment for two people would take up 2 slots, or there could be slots for shops. And this is kind of how each building type has a certain volume of space that can be used by different parties. Yeah, I know there's a lot of players like you, and this is why it will be important to just have a sandbox mode. Yeah, there will be disasters. Yeah, this will happen, I guess. Okay, so, but then there would have to be different building styles. I don't know if I can offer that, but I think mods can of course offer different, like completely different building style periods. Yeah, I'm still thinking about that, if I want to have these kind of customizable city buildings. But I will think about that in detail when I implement these buildings. I don't exactly know what you mean by that, but today we will be working on procedural buildings. Yeah, the size and shape of buildings is already procedural. In the future, all of the details will also be procedural. Roads will become 3D, but first I want to get them fully working in 2D before extended to the 3rd dimension. Do you think there will be some simple form of planning applications in the game? By that I mean, while playing you get a request from some fictional company to build a mall stadium. I know what you mean, but I don't think I will implement it in the game. But that's something that a mod can offer. Of course it won't be as diverse as Transport Tycoon, but I at least want to have the basic forms of transportation. Alright, today I will announce it in a second. Please stop asking questions now. Customized signs. Yeah, this would be like a really nice detail, but obviously not important right now. Hi Zozite, how you doing? Will the mods be bigger? Yes, we will work on that today. Usually the streams in the beginning I did some very long streams, like up to 5 or 6 hours, which was pretty crazy, but not that bad actually. Right now I have a little more to do each day, and that's why I keep them around 3 hours. I think today I will do the same again, 3 hours. I don't know yet when I will make the art more detailed, but also that's obviously not a priority right now. Yeah, I definitely want a kind of screenshot mode where you have full control over the camera and can ramp up the detail levels more than would usually make sense. just for, I mean, I will just build that for myself for promotional purposes, and if I include it in the game, I will of course also ship it with the game, so all the players can also make really nice screenshots. Alright, alright, I will quickly show you what progress I made since the last live stream. If you remember last live stream, we continued to work on merging lanes and had the problem that the pathfinding didn't really support it. I tried to do some changes, but as I found out, like in the 2 hours before this live stream today was the first time I got the chance to do some programming again. There were a lot of logical inconsistencies and thinking mistakes in there. I cleaned up some of them. It still doesn't fully work. It works now if the car only has to merge over one lane. So if we build something like this and delete these 2 lanes and use our new car spawning here, car spawning debug tool, where we can say please go from here to here, and it will spawn 1 or multiple cars. And now we see the car is finally merging as late as possible, basically. And that now works for 2 lanes, but if it has to merge over more than 1 lane. So for example, if we do something like this and force it to merge completely into the middle from all the way over here, it immediately merges 1 lane, then stays here and merges at the end. And the reason that it immediately merges over is that there is still some errors in the merging distance calculation that we created last time, and I will have to work some more on that. But that's not something that we will do today, because I feel this is a topic where I need to sit down for some hours and just think about it for myself to get the last flaws in the system out and to implement it properly. And I don't want to spend so many live streams on this one topic, so this is why I decided to do something different today. So today we will actually start to implement higher building densities. And for that we will first come up with a strategy that tells us when buildings should be upgraded or how bigger buildings replace smaller buildings. And this is what we will try to get working first, with just some dummy higher density buildings, like just empty lots basically, that replace lower density buildings. And then depending on how far we get, we might even have time to design and create some new procedural higher density buildings today. So yeah, this is what we will be working on today. Now, and for that I will switch to my other branch here, because now I'm finally using Git and I can do fancy stuff like work on multiple features at once without having them conflict. So I can switch back to my main development branch and we can create a new feature branch from there for the people who know how versioning systems work. Let me see, let me look at that log again just to make sure. Whoops. Okay. I like using a graphical user interface for Git, like to ask Git. Now I need to commit my changes first. Please stand by. Just making sure that I'm not committing anything stupid. All right. Alright, so now we can switch to our main branch. And it worked this time. So now we don't have the lane merging in game anymore. Oh, it crashed, what? No. But now we can create from this indef branch, which is basically kind of the last stable branch where all features that are in it are pretty much complete. So we'll use that as the base to create a new branch, and we'll call that higher density buildings, and we will switch to that new branch. I have earbuds, but you can still hear my music, but now you can't hear it 2 times because in the past I had problems with my microphone picking up the music. I don't know, do you feel like I can make the music louder? I can make it louder. I just set it to very quiet so you can hear me for sure. Welcome to Major Minecraft. Let me know, I can try making the music a little bit louder. So here, this is what I use basically. When I talk, the music is at 1, so I will increase that to 2, and when I don't talk, I can make it a little louder. And maybe increase the fade out duration. Alright. Yeah, it should still cut out when I talk. How was that now? Yeah, I really like Tor to ask it because it's basically just it works inside Windows Explorer, so I don't have to use anything else. Alright, so first we will need to think about when higher density buildings should replace lower density buildings. Like, what are the prerequisites for that? So let's kind of brainstorm that together. So, and I will move the chat over here now. And I will just write down the 2 requirements that I thought of, and I think that will pretty much cover everything, but let me know what you think. So of course, first requirement is there is a lot of demand for residential. But the problem here is, of course, we have to quantify a lot. All residential space is already used by low density buildings, because, and I don't know if this is true in reality, but I think it's always cheaper to build a lot of lower density buildings, and generally people will only start building higher density buildings if there's no more space left, and you need to make more efficient use of this space. What do you guys think? Okay, so it's actually maybe more complicated, because higher density buildings might promise more profit because you can fit more tenants in there. Ah, where's that Wikipedia link? What? Oh. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. So I think to make it realistic, we would have to have some system of land value already working. I don't have that and I want to keep it simple for now. So, oh no, maybe, I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we try to implement something simple and stupid first, where we basically only replace lower density buildings if there's isn't any space left anymore for residential buildings? Or should we already start to implement a land value system? Let me know. Because if we start to implement a land value system, I think this will be all that we will do during today's stream. But it might be worthwhile to have that already. Alright, so majority is for land value, but I think I'm actually going to agree with Tburek to keep it simple first and make the conditions more intelligent later on. So I probably didn't even need to ask you, but we're going to implement it in a very simple way for now. I don't think it would be a lot of change. I mean, as soon as I implement the land value system, I can replace it with intelligent conditions later. Alright, I'm going to do a very small bathroom break and then we're going to start implementing something. Alright, be right back.
Open up your soul. Every side of deeper fears. Silence sing in my ear. Morning colors in your bed.
I think this is the most what the fuck thing I read today. And it's raining like hell now. Oh. All right. So how are we going to do that? First, let's enable the display of our building seed points again, because I feel like we will have to make some changes to them. Maybe yes, we will. Alright, so let's make sure that they are actually displayed. So now if we create a road, we should see these seed points. For everyone who doesn't know what they are, these are basically the points that buildings can grow from. And if we zone some stuff and buildings get created, you will see that the seed points where these buildings are, of course, get disabled, because we don't want the system to try to make new buildings there, because there's already a building there. Now, of course, if we want to implement higher densities, we will have to have kind of different sets of seed points, so that higher density buildings can still be created here where smaller density buildings are. Or we would have to make one seed point be disabled only for one density type. And for that, let's think about how we actually want to represent densities in the game. Right now, I think the simplest way to do it would just be to have integers where like 0 is the lowest density, 1 is the next higher density, and so on, and you can have as many density levels as you want. And each building type declares its own zone type and density. And the seed points, remember, if they are usable not only for each zone type but also for each density type. Yeah, I think that's how we will do it. Now I'm kind of irritated because I already ate my whole pretzel and I was expecting there to be some more, but whatever. Density doesn't necessarily have to equal number of floors. So let me think about that a little bit. No, it also doesn't have to be number of seed points. If you want to create some like sketches or ideas for how you want buildings to look, please go ahead. I will of course be inspired by that. In fact, someone did that a couple of weeks in the past. and he almost nailed the style that I already had in my head, so that's definitely welcome. The source of music is I'm playing a mix on Mixcloud here that I found that consists of Creative Commons music. Yeah, this will be the next density, but now we want to implement first the generic system for different densities. I think stuff like this will happen organically as soon as there really is a land value system, because where there's a lot of shops and people, there's more interest for more shops and people to go there, and that's how the center of masses develop kind of emergently. Just keep it for Q&A and copy paste it when we do the next one. I'm going to leave it open-ended. That's why I said like it will start with 0 and support as many as you want. Yes, I can share the link. Here it is. Nick, I figured it out half. Yeah. Right. Why do you think so? I think there should be even smaller buildings, like just temporary heads or stuff like that. I mean, sure, but okay. We can decide later what should be which density, but first we have to get the system going. So now I'm thinking if I should make this seed points unusable, if I should subdivide that for each density. Does that make sense? I guess so. I guess that's... Let me think about it. Is this even used here? Huh. If I remove this, is this a problem? I think this is superfluous code. Yeah, we don't need a separate density for undeveloped land because that's just no buildings. Again, kill hour, what do you mean by that? You mean buildings should also be able to be replaced by buildings of the same density, or what? The amount of seed points they use up has nothing to do with their density. They can be very big, like mansions are a good example. They can take up a lot of land, cover multiple seed points, but still be low density. That sounds the wrong way around. Yeah. There should only be a control about what maximum density should be. But right now we actually need to implement the mechanism of how buildings get replaced. Okay. Yeah, it will get more reasonable like this in the future, but first I want to focus on the way how we can replace them. Alright, so let me actually try if that broke anything, the code change that I did there. But I don't think so. Just trying some random stuff. Alright, no, that worked. So let's actually make that yeah, let's make that a kind of sparse array where we save the usability for each density separately. Where's the chat? Let me move you over here. Okay, sorry for being a little bit distracted. Alright, zone type. So we don't need zone type here at all anymore. Yeah. So first we will have to check if we already have if we have already created our sparse array here. And then we can check. I think we have to do type of. Let me check that quickly. Alright, so now this is like a two-dimensional map where first we look at find one seed point, and then it has multiple entries for each density, and we update that. So now if there's a blocking building, we have to figure out, I think buildings have references to their building types. So where's our create building? Yeah, type, building type name. Density. And only if the blocking building has a density of our density, then it becomes unusable. Of equal or higher density, then it becomes unusable. Alright, let me look at the chat, what you guys wrote. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm implementing right now. It's already doing that. You can change the zone, but it won't destroy buildings immediately. Alright. Right now just nothing happens if you change the zone. The building will just stay there until you remove it. But let me think. Yeah, if we make our replacement system more intelligent and based on actual cost to replace, we can also make buildings of the new correct zone replace buildings of the old wrong zone. But right now let's just focus on densities. This is exactly how it's working already, or what we're implementing now. Yeah, right now we won't use the best spot, what we will just try a random spot if there are no spots left for lower density buildings, but okay, let's just try to keep it going to get it to work. So now we also have reset usability for a specific density. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed Juggernaut of War. Yeah, but we can always introduce that later. I first want to create the code here that makes it even possible. Yeah, okay, whatever. We can think about the details as soon as we have it working. So I think I also have to seed point. Yeah, we also have to do that. We have to introduce density as a second parameter everywhere. Wait. Let me think how I want to organize my data structures here. Give me a bit of time to think about this. I'm not entirely sure if I want to do it like this, which would be smarter. But I think probably like this, yes. It would even be smarter to do it like this. Let me restructure some stuff here. And so now we have density as a parameter pretty much everywhere. Okay, so now we have to make use of this when we create a building. Well, first we should add a density parameter to all of our building types. And just call that density 0 for all that we have now. when we try to expand the lot, we also have to tell it which density to use. Okay, so now we only have to change our expand lot. We now have a density parameter. Let all of that happen. Add our density parameter here. Just watching the chat to make sure I don't miss anything important. But I think right now you're just discussing what kind of buildings appear where, right? Line 46. Yeah, this is a pretty ugly if condition. But I will make this whole lot generation system much more intelligent in the future. It's really brute forcey right now. So now we should also make sure that when we check for collisions with other buildings, that we incorporate that we only think about buildings of higher or equal density and just ignore everything else for now. So we add that as an additional condition. Right, so now the collision function for lot generation should ignore lower density buildings. I think I missed one more thing. We do get max size here, and should also include density. Density. Alright, now I think we incorporate density everywhere. Let's see if it still works. Density is not defined, buildings 368. Building type density. Alright, I think just the display of the seed points is broken now, but it should work. Yes. So this still works. So now we need to update the display function. And let's add some basic color coding for the densities. So we'll just encode 3 values of density 0, 1 and 2 with different colors. So if it's available to the lowest density of buildings, it will just get a white dot. If it's only available to the next higher distance, no wait, let me do it the other way around. We have to change the order, yes. All right. Yeah, these colors now are just for debug purposes. So now they are black. Why is that? Oh, hold on. Oh, I know why. Let me have a quick look at the chat. Cars will of course be 3D. Yeah, thanks. But displaying numbers is harder than just displaying colored dots. Right, so now these are what? That's interesting. Why did that happen? They all became unusable? That's strange. No, that's stupid. They shouldn't all be red. Well, let's actually look at the data. So our first seed point, for example, doesn't have any entries because it's still usable. Yeah, in the last case I'm using OR, and that's deliberate. Because if we don't have any entry for it being unusable, then it's usable by everything. First one is making them red. Oh no, I'm stupid. This shouldn't be these shouldn't be else ifs, they should be a sequence of ifs. What the hell? I'm kind of confused, and also let me open the window. Oh, because I'm stupid. I forgot to add density here. No, this is actually fine, because the first index is our steep point index. Yeah, it's also raining. Maybe you can even hear it. Ah, no, I'm so stupid, of course. Of course I have to do it like this. I don't want to push 3 colors. I want to first decide which color to use and then push that. Yeah, so now they're white and they stay white. Now if I add buildings... Wait, is that the music or is that outside? Whatever. But now that there are buildings here, these should change color. That's strange.
Of course, you can modulate the frequency with any of the signals. Most obvious one, of course, is sticking a little...
Still all that's bad. I'm just going to do some debugging here to see if the densities are actually what I expect them to be. Also, this is a great way if you write something important in the chat that I notice it, because I noticed this chat on the other monitor even though I wasn't looking at it. So if I miss something really important, please do this. Yeah, I'm now making sure that in the update usability algorithm, the densities actually have the values that I expect them to have, because I think this is where the error probably is. And the way it works is first we make sure that this data structure is there. If it isn't, we create an array for all the different densities. And then if it isn't already set, we have to check it. So first we check if our seed point is on a lane, then it just always gets disabled. Then we find a building that might be in the way, and now the new thing is that we actually check the building's density before we mark it as unusable. And I think that's where the error is. So whoops, let's change that. Let's check that out. Oh, we actually get, I should have looked at this. Property, what, 113? Blocking building. Oh, okay. Yeah, blocking building. What? So our density parameter that we get in there is actually a zone. What? How can that happen? Alright, so we have to find where update usability is called. Zone type, yeah. We don't need that anymore. Anywhere else? No. That's strange. Just completely wrong parameter. Come on. Sometimes it freezes, I don't know why that happens. But it's like the whole node WebKit freezes. Perfect. Now you can see that where buildings are, the dots turn not completely red, but light red, which means they're only usable by density 1 now. So let me get my second pretzel and then we'll continue implementing the system. Yeah, this is another great case of strict typing missing. But whatever, that's what I have to deal with, I guess. Yeah, I didn't really like Dart when I looked at it. To me it seemed like someone just implemented Java on top of JavaScript, and it's slower than JavaScript, so that's already out of the question for me. Yeah, that YouTube channel, I had a look at it, but it's not really music that I like. But thanks for the suggestion. Alright, so now actually the music that's running now is really annoying me. Let's try to skip ahead a little bit. Yeah, whatever, that sounds nice. Okay, so now we will add a new building type, and it will just be a dummy building type. that will be of higher density, and we will implement that it can replace the now lower density buildings. Yeah, the reason that the page says that is that I implemented this feature in like 15 minutes, the countdown, and I didn't really think about it, but whatever, it's not a big problem. So let's add a new building type. Let's call it small apartment complex. It will be the first building type that has a density of 1. Base lot area, which is the minimum lot area. Let's make that like 400 lot area per additional slot. Let's make that smaller because now we're starting to be higher. Base floors, let's have it be at least 2 floors. Floors per additional slot, let's just make that, yeah, like that. Min slots, let's say 10 people, max slots 30 people. The rest we can just copy from our normal house, and we'll also use the same building model. Apartment is spelled with 1p, thanks, because in German it isn't, and I always get confused about that. Right. Actually, let's also create a new building generator for our apartment complex just to make it look different. And for that, let's also call it small apartment complex. And let's just have it be an empty lot for now. Right now, as you can see, it's pretty verbose to create buildings. I will simplify that in the future. So our building generator now is small apartment complex. Tonu, please keep your questions for the next Q&A session. So now we only need to make sure that apartment complexes actually get planned in our planned buildings function. And for that, let's add a new entry here. Okay, let's use that again. And if there's still demand for residential left after we build small houses, we will try to build apartment complexes. Okay, let's try that. It might be necessary that we now create artificial or maybe even not non-artificial demand for buildings. Ah, so here we already got one of our apartment buildings. That's interesting. But and now we completely satisfied our demand for residences with this apartment complex. So how do we make sure that it tries to create more small buildings first? By allowing this here more iterations, I guess. But now we have the problem that these apartment complexes, yeah, they overlap. We don't want that, and we don't want them to be created before all space for houses is gone. It does kind of take long to make a building model. So that's why I wanna do it on the end of the stream if we get to it. I don't want to have a minimum population requirement because that's not realistic, that's not the direct cause. Yeah, but that in most cases that's yeah, it might look a little, I think it looks a little cleaner if I use the full if here. Yeah, let's see, maybe I get to it today. Oops. Also, just to make them more visible, let's make their lot color bright white. So now it keeps generating normal apartments, as long as there is demand. Right, let's create some more demand by building a factory here. And now we can see the first apartment complex generated, because there wasn't any more space available for small buildings. So it's doing exactly what we wanted to do. But now, of course, we have to make sure that all buildings that were in the way get deleted. Yeah, right now it doesn't have any intelligence which buildings to replace. But that's not bad. We can always make that smarter later. Right, so let's do something like remove old colliding buildings that are inside of our lot, of our new lot, and let's implement that. And for that we can reuse this code and change it. We don't care about density here, we want to delete all other buildings because we made sure that we incorporate density earlier when we created the lot. So now if they collide we have to actually delete this building, and for that we can use our remove building that we created a few live streams back. Let's see if that works. Because the code of the other function stops finding colliding buildings as soon as it finds one, because that's all we care about. But now we want to remove all colliding buildings, so that's why we can't just call it. Okay, let's see if that works. We can speed this process up by making our residential zone much smaller. Seems to have worked. Now our old buildings are gone. The seed points have the correct colors. Let's do a small Q&A session to relax a bit. I think then we can actually create a building model for our apartment complex. What do you guys think? Yeah, these are darker red because now it means that these should be darker red as well. That's strange. You're correct. No, I can tell you why. Because the dots don't get updated all the time. But they only get updated when a new building is going to be built. Then it looks up all the seed points and updates their values. So for these two here, because we have two apartment buildings now, we completely satisfied our demand for residence. So it doesn't try to build another residence, so the seed points don't get updated. Does that make sense?
Where is Berlin?
Can we make a road that only has buildings on one side? Yes, of course, just zone one side.
Where is Copenhagen? Where is London?
What made you interested in city building games? Did you grow up playing SimCity? Yes, exactly. My parents tell me that they set me before SimCity as early as at the age of 4 or something. Of course, back then I had no idea how to play it.
Where is Detroit?
But I still enjoyed messing around with it, and later I understood more what was happening. Is this a single building complex or more of a multi-building one? Well, we can decide what it looks like when we create the building model.
Where is Barcelona?
How will cars on the other side of the road that need to get to the house affect the oncoming traffic? Right now they don't affect the oncoming traffic, they just teleport into the house. But
Where is Copenhagen?
I will experiment with that and try to find out if it causes too much problems, if they actually stop the oncoming traffic, or if they have to wait until they can switch over, if they will cause traffic jams behind them. I would just experiment with that. Can someone bring him up to date?
Where is Detroit? Where is Chicago?
When do you think you will start working on non-rectangular areas? As soon as I got the core gameplay working and fun. For a long time I thought that this was a very important feature, but it's really secondary to getting the gameplay fun. It's still very important to me though, and I will probably do that as soon as I have the core game working.
Where is
Hmm,
Copenhagen?
maybe. I can't imagine how that would work though.
Where is London?
That's awesome.
Where is Madrid? Where is Detroit?
Complex economy. Yeah, I think there won't be a lot of different resource types, but there will definitely be import and export. Building generation already adheres to demand and supply. So yes, that will be included with the alpha. Yeah, it will become more generic, and I will try to make it more declarative instead of just writing it down like I'm doing it now. Yeah, but that will take a while until I get to that. I will work on trains, probably, So after I got everything working with cars, I will work next on pedestrians and then trains, I think. Well, it won't delay the alpha because it's already exactly what I want to have in there. Yeah, modders can definitely make the economy more complex, especially by adding more varied resource types and making the production supply chain really complicated. That's always possible, but it's of course also much harder to balance. That's why I want to focus on a few core resources for the main game. They will get a 3D shape and will also hopefully have, there will be different like models of cars. I mean, maybe I can even make the cars procedural so they all look different, because technically it doesn't make a difference for the performance. How will you get buildings to work on curved roads? Well, right now they already work on curved roads, they're just rectangles on curved roads, but it will get more interesting when buildings can have non-rectangular plots, because then they can use the curves much better. So when you rezone something and there are already buildings, they get destructed automatically after a while. No, they will stay there. They will only be replaced by higher density buildings of the new zone, but they won't be replaced until you delete them. Yeah, that's definitely possible, because each building type can offer different kinds of slots. So let's have a look at one building type. For example, I mean, there's this house and shop that where there are shops in the ground floor and flats above that. And in the same way, you could implement wealthy homes offering new slots, or you could even create a new household type that employs people. Can you maybe show the medium density for the people who just joined? Yeah, right now we're just using a placeholder. So here you see a small density building, and here two higher density buildings that replace the lower density ones, and they're just white rectangles. And after this Q&A session we will try to design a model for them. Let me make that happen again so you can see the replacement. Basically we just give residential very little space, so it starts creating small buildings, and then they get replaced by higher density buildings. How do you plan To implement buildings on uneven terrain once terrain is added. I found a very nice paper about the procedural generation of villages and buildings in these villages, and they have some nice algorithms to make buildings react to uneven terrain and change the placement of windows and so on. So I'm just going to use that as inspiration. This is interesting. I never thought about that. But it shouldn't be too hard to implement. But I think this will probably be more like a mod. Are the names of the zone types case sensitive? Yes, of course, everything is case sensitive. Can we get links to those papers? Yes, I can link you this one paper, and I wanted to create like a research section in the wiki anyways, where I will all post them. But let me give you this one paper. Or let me actually try to find it in the web. So here you can get the paper from, there's a link to the PDF. Well, I would love to have fluid dynamics in the game. As I said in the last stream, I think I will write my bachelor's thesis about fluid simulation. So maybe I can use what I learned there and add it to Citybound in some way if the performance allows it. How much did you think about water transport so far? Ferries, water taxis, building canals, etc. Well, ferries should be fairly easy to implement. I think the hardest thing to implement are canals, because I'm pretty sure that my terrain will be height map based, even if it's completely procedural. And if you want to create stuff like canals, you have to have very sharp corners inside your terrain. And I'm not completely sure how to implement that so it looks nice and you can create arbitrarily shaped canals. But I will need that anyways for other stuff like roads or tunnels or stuff like that, so I will have to figure out something there. Will one household have one car and the rest of the family walk or take public transport? Yes, this is how it will be. Right now everyone has a car because it's the only mode of transport that exists, but as soon as there are pedestrians and public transport, we can of course vary the number of cars per household from 0 to whatever you want, and have the rest of the family choose alternatives or have them use the car together in an intelligent way, where for example the parents bring their children to school on the way of them going to work or something like that. I think it was just a joke. That's the problem with like text chat, that you can never hear the tone of people, so don't try to get angry about each other. Well, if it gets too uneven, there won't appear any buildings there. I mean, farms are probably the buildings that can sustain the most uneven terrain. Well, what else should the Pathfinder use other than the time it takes? Ah, I see. Yeah, you could include preferences like that. Yeah, that does sound kind of offensive, so just relax, people. I mean, don't worry that people suggesting stuff will delay the alpha. If people suggesting stuff would delay anything, I wouldn't be anywhere now, because people have been suggesting the craziest stuff ever since I announced the project, and I'm getting pretty used to just sort the stuff into what's important right now, what will be important later on, and keep the stuff that's important later on in the back of my head. But I think Text and Mirror's suggestion about a complex economy, or at least having the foundation for a complex economy, that should be in the alpha, I completely agree, and it already exactly matches the plan that I have for the alpha, so it won't cause delay, because that's already what I also want in the alpha. Yeah, something like that would be nice. Yeah, this is exactly what I meant. What? This is like a random picture. What does it have to do with what you just said? But this is exactly what I meant when I was talking about canals. Because canals and roads will have the same problem, that you need more detail than the height maps will allow. But there are some solutions to that I thought about, so it should be possible. Citybound t-shirt. I don't know yet what I would put on a Citybound t-shirt. I mean, there's not really an official logo. I have this kind of logo here, but that's like thrown together in 10 minutes and I don't really like it. So sooner or later I will have to come up with something, and ideally it will look so awesome that you also want to put it on a t-shirt. Is there any part of the development that scares you? Yes, almost everything scares me. I haven't done any of this before, everything is new to me, but I'm kind of getting used to it. And yeah, I mean, everything is scary and nothing is scary, I just have to do it. Will we get extensive documentation about people in the city with graphs, etc.? Yes. Maybe I won't be able to implement all of these infographics soon, but if the game allows you to collect it in some ways, of course mods can create graphs and I can then incorporate these mods into the main game. Alright, so this should be the proper picture. Yeah, exactly. This is a problem that you get if your height map is too low resolution with roads, and I will have to think about something there. But yeah. I already said in the last stream that I trust you, and whatever I see, I mean, I think I've seen enough stuff on the internet that nothing can shock me, and if you see it on the stream, I apologize, but that's what you have to deal with. Yeah, last questions, please. Then I will get some water and then let's create a building model. Will the agents behave like in SimCity, each day another job? No, they already have a fixed home and a fixed job and will travel between exactly those. It's not like in the new SimCity that they choose the next job that they can find every day. They have persistent jobs and homes. Yeah, this is true, although... Oh, what happened to the music? No, it's playing something... What, it already played a whole new... Oh, that's terrible. I have to think about something with this music. I hope I don't get content ID matches for that. Let's play our normal playlist. Oh. This is terrible. No, I want to play all. I don't want to play related stuff. Alright. Sorry about this happening like every time. I need to figure out something. Alright, so yeah, your point is of course right, but only one part of the trade-off that I'm making all of the time, where I want to implement everything as complex as possible now, so it will be easy to extend, but I also have to implement everything as simple as possible, so I quickly have something going. So yeah. Yeah, minimalistic city, something like that would be nice. Yeah, I mean, what I basically want to do is that in Citybound every sim is like this one sim who you can follow around, because I pretty much have all information about this one, about every sim in the city. And how awesome would it be if you could find out all of these things about every citizen? You can have them all as individuals. I mean, that's how I'm building it right now. Yes, in theory. But yeah, I have some other ideas for that. Can residents change jobs and move homes? Right now, no, they can just be kicked from the city and be replaced by new citizens, but this will be possible in the future. No, 3JS does not support tessellation. But the thing I was thinking about is kind of doing tessellation manually near roads and buildings or canals, where you disregard the height map and actually do something more high resolution near them. Okay. Yeah, but they actually they update the whole terrain mesh, and that's or wait, no, they add additional meshes. Is that how it works? But I can't see them carving. Here they carve into the terrain. But here they need to create new geometry, and that's something that I want to avoid because it's nearly impossible to do performantly enough. Yeah, I said earlier that I will focus on just a few core resources, but mods can make it much more diverse. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that in the next live stream. Just have this stream without music and everyone can listen to their own stuff. Let me know, everyone, what you think about that. Or if we should just switch to that. I mean, it will be a little quiet but then again, you can just listen to your own music, exactly. Not yet, because the gameplay and economy doesn't really support big cities yet, and I mean, that's what we're working on literally today, because now we're making bigger buildings possible, which makes bigger cities possible. Yeah, but on my PC I don't have any copyright-free music that I can play on a stream. Yeah, that's true, but I said that I will implement this, and then you really have something like real individuals if they can move and so on. Yeah, I read that sometimes the delay gets worse and worse the longer you watch, so maybe in between a refresh helps to cut the delay shorter again. And I'll give you an opportunity to do that now because I will fetch some more water and then we'll do our building model. Oh, I forgot about that you have to watch ads. I have adblock installed. Yeah, I'll really try to get the Twitch partnership soon, because then I can just disable all ads. Alright, let's start. I'll move you over again. I have an idea how we can make this apartment complex really interesting and add a lot of variety by not really doing a lot. And the way I imagine it, of course I will draw something again, and I still don't have a graphics tablet. I mean, I own one, but I didn't find it, and then I remembered that I borrowed it to a friend. So you will have to bear with my mouse drawings for a little more. So the idea for our apartment buildings architecture that I had was, let's say this is our lot shape, and I really want to create like an apartment building that is combined of several sub-buildings, so to say. And the system that I came up with is we can create something like this. Let me draw this and then I will explain it. So the idea I had was this is kind of the building blocks we can build our apartment complex out of, and then when we create one we randomly choose which ones we want to build. For example, we could say, okay, this time we build this one and this one and this one, and then we have this I-shaped building. Or we could say we just want to have 3 parallel buildings, which will look okay. Or what else? We could do like a 2 shape, and that would look interesting. Or we can have like a square building with a courtyard, or with 2 courtyards, or yeah. So we just these are like the parts that we think about, and then we just create random ones, and we'll get random ones. Yeah. Jeep is worried about making a swastika in there, but I don't think that's even possible. Is it? Ah, yes, it is possible, of course. But let's just create these at a time, and then you can't create one like just the whole, maybe even diagonals. Alright, I like that idea. And for each of these sections we can just reuse the code that we use for our small house, where we create walls and the roof with this shape. Oh, I left things. I always forget that. Alright. So let's declare a couple of variables like we do for all of the other houses. First we create some helper variables for the road direction and the direction perpendicular to the road that we will reuse. Then we figure out our lot width and lot depth. And then we create some offsets, so our building doesn't start at the immediate edge of the lot, but we will make them lower for this building because we want to take it up more of its lot than the small low density buildings. So our front offset will be pretty small. Back offset will be like this, and side offsets like this. Okay, so here we create the geometry for our lot. So next we have to create our footprints. So let's first just create the buildings that are parallel to the road, so these. And for the beginning, let's just stick to 3 possible locations. So 4. Alright, this is parallel building parts. Move you over here. I will make them have pitched roofs, or maybe we can also make that a random decision. Sometimes they will have flat roofs or sometimes pitched roofs. Will procedural buildings allow things like this? Yeah, sure. I mean, everything is possible in theory. It's just more work. Alright, let's try to focus. So footprints for our parallel building parts. Let's call that P. P is smaller than 3. P plus plus. And then how do we do that? we want to have a random number and a random selection of them, but at least one. Alright, so parallel indices to create So we basically generate 3 random numbers, and these tell us the indices. We might have duplicates, which means that there will be one building part missing. So this should make sure that we have at least one of these sections, or maybe we also want 0. Whatever, let's just keep it. Yeah, let's create at least one. Alright, so if parallel indices to create index of P, okay, then we start with the footprint. Parallel building part depth will be, let's say, lot depth minus front offset minus back offset divided by, let's say, 5. No, by 7. It will make sense in a second. Our parallel building spacing. No, that is just automatic, right? No, let's do it like this. 7. I'm just guessing some proportions that I imagine to look nice. Will you guys please stop worrying about swastika-shaped buildings? The way I'm coding it right now already makes them impossible. Do you think I don't care about this? Just forget about it. Alright, so our initial footprint, let me think, have to check something, hold on. Because I don't remember which... I think the 0.0 is the right point of the lot that is closest to road. Yes, I think so. Did I really do it that complicated? Yeah. Alright, so I'll just reuse this. But then yeah, using enums would be pretty smart for corners. I should do that in the future. Right, in a second we should be able to see something. Please just bear with me while I code it together. Okay. 3 times. It's actually 4 times, so it should be fine, like all 4 corners. I will try now if what happened here. Yeah, now we get an exception 295. And I will try to build the scenario once and then use the save game feature to quickly try out the generation, because of course buildings get regenerated after the game is saved and loaded. Right, so now if we save, what? Oh. Need to fix a few bugs. I think this is due to 279 because we removed some citizens. Yeah. $279. No, this is whether we want to create the first, second and third building, so this is fine. Hold on, I gotta try something quickly. I can explain it in a second when I fix the save game feature. Yeah, I think I never fixed the save game feature after we implemented the removal feature. Is that possible? 497. What do you mean, Twinkle Turnip? How could you and your wife contribute? You mean with coding? Oh, Jesus. Alright, whatever. I think it's faster if I just rebuild it every time. Because I forgot to implement some updates to the save game feature that it can deal with deleted households and buildings and so on. Yeah, Twinkle Turnip, please just make a post on Reddit or one of the other communities, then I can reply to it later. Right, so I will try to give our footprints a different color so we can actually see them. Maybe not. No, that should be fine. But let's do something where we display the buildings as wireframes, because that makes it easier sometimes to see the geometry. This time I don't need it, haha, because it does that automatically. Right, so now as you can see, our buildings are wireframes, and here we can see that our sub part has a weird geometry. It's just a line, so I did something wrong there. Why? Let me think about that. Ah, whoops. Let's try that again. Still a line, this looks strange. Ah, wow, that doesn't make any sense. So I got confused about the point order. So let me think. I think I can just do this and it should be fine. Yes, let's try that. No, it's not fine. I will have to experiment a bit because I don't exactly remember which corners are which. What the hell? Right, so the order is wrong. And this is strange. Right, almost. Now we just need to change around the order. So it's 1, 2, the last two. Alright, this looks better, but it's completely outside. And it didn't even delete the old one, that's strange. Let's try to force it to create some more. Okay, now it worked, but it creates them outside. Why is that? Also, we don't want them to cast shadows. That means we're doing them in the wrong way around. So E0. Sorry, I have to do some experimentation here. Okay, this looks exactly like I wanted, only the offsets aren't perfect yet. Okay. Because these are now... Alright, so this works. The left and right offset doesn't really work. So I have to switch those around probably. Alright, this looks better. The spacing seems a little off, but maybe not. So now we have the footprints of our building parts. So next we can create walls and the roof. So we don't actually have to create a face for the footprint because you can't see it, because you never look at the building from below the building. So we don't need to do that. Now we can start creating walls and roofs, and for that we will do this, where we basically copy the corners of our footprint and we move them by our height, and I don't think we figured out our height yet. Yeah. Our height is of course dependent on the number of floors. So we copy our footprint along the z-axis by height, and then we get a new pair of corners at our roof. What we can then do is something that's called connect with faces, and I will explain graphically what that does. So let's draw a picture. Basically we have our footprint with our four corners. We copied that along the z-axis, and what this connect with faces will do is it will take the lower loop and the upper loop and create the necessary triangles for there to be geometry. Basically it will go around at the top and go around at the bottom and connect it with triangles like this. So then we have walls. Just a helper function that I created. Alright, let me. Okay. Then we can also color these faces that we just created. Our wall color, of course, stays the same. I will just use the same random color algorithm that I used for the small houses. And let's see what that looks like. Alright, not bad. So now we have geometry. I think at this point we can switch off the wireframes and look at it in solid again. So that's strange. Okay, it works, but they have the wrong color, our walls. Oh no, we actually wanna. Oh no, that's true. What? Freeze again. That's strange. Ah, no. That's actually not true, Sir Xer. The small buildings can sometimes also be multi-story, but you don't see it because they don't have windows yet. Alright, now the walls also have a proper color. So next we can start adding roofs. Yeah, good old Chris Sawyer programming Rollercoaster Tycoon completely in assembler. What do you mean with that? Only rendering the inside of buildings sometimes? No, the problem is we don't have a roof yet, so we can see inside the building and see that there is nothing. Yeah, it sometimes happens, but Nick the Graph, what you can try to do, it's completely random now, and sorry for the distraction, but in your package JSON for in your package JSON, add this Chromium arc, disable threaded compositing if you are using Windows, and then the lag is gone. This started appearing in the latest version of Node WebKit. I think this fixes your kind of freeze. So try that. Right, back to our building. And let's do like 15 more minutes. Alright, let's add a roof, and for that I created a whole helper function. How did I do that with the normal? Oh, okay. I will just copy paste that, should work in theory. Alright. What? Creating the roof didn't work. Why? Create gable roof. Roof basics. Roof height. We don't have roof height set. What did we choose here? Roof height. Okay, let's use that as well. Alright, and now we have... They also have roofs. It looks a little strange. I think I need to play with the spacing a little bit. Yeah, that's definitely strange. Yeah, I miscalculated something. This has to be 3/7. Then they should use more of the whole lot. We just... You wanna see them on a curved road? Here it is on a curved road. Yeah, you see these are unusable, sadly, because the curve is too narrow. But, whoops, we wanted to just create these. So yeah, that's how it looks. Let's make the... Let's make the roofs flatter and give them... Well, nice to have you, Twinkle Turnip. Can I see the connect with faces function? Well, it's pretty... where is it? It's on another file even. Here, connect with faces gets us input to shapes. Like I showed you in the picture, the lower corners and the upper corners. And it will connect them. It's easier to describe like I described it in the picture. Alright, let me play around a little bit with the spacings and the offsets to make it look nicer. And let's actually, in our building type, make the number of base floors 1 and have it not create as many floors, so they are a little flatter. I think that will look nicer. Right, so what happened here? This is strange. This is totally unintentional. I don't know why it built it like that. Something with the spacings? That's weird. Why would it do that? Alright, let's look at some more variations. Just out of curiosity. Ah, yeah, it didn't delete the old building properly, that's right. Alright, this looks better. Nice. In fact, they almost look identical. Whatever. So let's start adding our perpendicular road part. Yeah. Our perpendicular road, not road parts, our perpendicular building parts. In basically the same way. Can even move that up here. Okay, so basically now we copy all of this and adapt it for our perpendicular parts. Alright, so now we have to use the lot width, left offset, yeah. Footprint we reset it, and now we want to do 0 and 1. 0 is, we have to add sub right. Sub back. Add front, yes. I forgot width on 356. Ah, thank you. Let's see what that looks like, if it works already or if I missed something. Okay, this looks strange. Perfectly flat houses, why not? Right, let me think about that. Because here I'm adding... Here I should add road direction. And I should add this. Let's try again. Right, looks better, but they're completely the wrong way around, so I have to change the order of vertices. If I just do this, will it be enough? Like this. No, it's completely broken. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't have changed the last two. Yeah, I do a lot of this programming by guessing for graphic stuff, because you can just look at it and try to guess how to fix it. There, looks better. Now only the offsets are wrong. Right, the offsets are wrong. Basically all of them, so I have to add, sub, add. Yeah, that should be better. What the hell? No, that was wrong. Maybe okay, I need to do several things. I need to sub here. I need, oops, sub here. I need to sub here. And I think I even need to sub here. Yeah, that's true. It looks like they're twice the size that they're meant to be. I'll just continue filling around with this here. Right, better, but now they're the wrong way around again. Ugh. Alright, now it's correct, but they're too big. Modeling using a script seems like a tough job, that's true, but only because I didn't offer a lot of helper functions yet. It's still very brute force-ish. Okay, let's try to fix the width as our final thing. Why are they too wide? Could it be that no, that's correct. That's also correct. The buildings are scaling to the lot size. This is intentional, yes. Alright, but I think I have to end it now, sadly, but you saw what it's like to create a procedural building. I will of course make that better. We implemented a very basic system where higher density buildings can replace lower density buildings. even if they look a little stupid now. So let's do some very quick final Q&A, just like 5 more minutes. And then we'll be done for today. How did I learn coding? Well, hard to say in a simple way. In the beginning it was a lot of copy-pasting stuff that I just found in the internet, and slowly I started to understand what I was doing. This is my quick answer for that question right now. Will the curved roof rule sets be changeable to make them flat roofed? Yeah, that's something that you can add as an alternative, that there's a random choosing between flat or these kind of roofs. Gable roofs they're called. It's about halfway fixed. I showed it in the beginning of the stream. Yeah, you can imagine the kind of fixes you need to do, but then they will look pretty good. Alright, let's do 4 more minutes of questions. How will you apply well-mapped textures using this method of creating scaled buildings? I don't think that I will add a lot of details with textures. Like, I think windows and so on will have their own geometry, although maybe not. Well, it's not too hard to do. Basically, you could subdivide the geometry so the part where window texture would repeat actually repeats a well-rounded amount of times, and it doesn't look stupid. It's kind of hard to describe this, but it's definitely possible, but I know which problem you're talking about. Irregular lots were never in the game, but they will be hopefully soon. Nowhere. The stream is the only code review. Yeah, fences or details like that would be nice, but not the highest priority right now. Will there be buildings or houses that only take up a small amount of the available land for the lot? Yes, of course. Will building upgrades have construction animations? Yes. Not just upgrades, but any building construction will have an animation. Yeah, of course, in my head they still are. Yeah, the small house is still there, so I will have to check that algorithm to make sure. I think maybe I did a mistake and it doesn't delete everything, I don't know why. Alright, awesome. Thanks for the info. Yes, there will be parking spaces, but when they will be functional, I don't know yet. This is something that I will implement later rather than sooner. I don't know yet how I will implement construction animations. I mean, they could just be part of the procedural definition of the building. You could include hints on how the construction animation should look like in this in the same place where you described the geometry of the building. Will there be drawbridges that block certain paths temporarily? That would be interesting. That would also be an interesting challenge for the pathfinding to deal with stuff like that. Because if it can deal with stuff like that, it can, or maybe no, the cars will just have to wait, like on train crossings. So yeah, that's definitely possible. Alright, very last questions. Will trains need yards to store cars? I don't think it will be this detailed. I think trains will be more simple. Does the sun and the shadows move? Not yet, but there will be day-night cycles and then the shadow will move. Would you like to give an extra stream on how to create building themes so we can send you our own variants? Yes, I will make some kind of tutorial as soon as the game is out, so maybe I will even try to think of something more intelligent there. Will there be parking lots and garages? Yeah, this is something that I will think about in the future, but not a priority. What do you think of very low density? Like mentioned, yes, that will be there for rich people. Yeah, parking will become a mechanic, but not very soon, I guess. Okay, Will you make buildings closer to the road? Yes, I guess so. Okay, but I have to wrap it up here now. Thank you all for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. Lately we have to cut off the streams at like not so nice places to stop in the middle of a feature, but that's just how programming is sometimes. I will try to get a little more done until the next update, or at least kind of smooth off these changes that we did this time. So yeah, I will see you, or better, you will see me on Tuesday in the new update video, and then I hope that there will be a lot of people again next week on Thursday and Saturday. So have a nice rest of the weekend and see you all soon. Bye.